Hey, welcome back to Burnt Wood Workshop. I'm Al, and today we're going to cover layered engravings. And what I did was I did this little wedding engraving with the bride and groom in the church. And what I did was I created this in AI Make, and AI Make offers a way to do layered designs where you can put in a prompt and it'll make these layered designs for you. So this was created in AI Make, and I'm going to show how I did that. Some of the pitfalls in AI Make when you try to cut them out, they aren't like just run to the screen ready. So I'm going to show how to make these come out like this, and we'll go over some of the prompts. I'll go into the editing, additions, modifications, and all that kind of stuff. So stay tuned. Okay, so what we want to generate is basically a bride and a groom in front of a church. So what I did was I basically said create a multi-layer cut-ready silhouette of a bride and groom standing in front of a church with separate layered files suitable for laser cutting. Each layer has its own separate path. So by writing it out that way, it gave me this. Now on this, we're going to come up with something a little different, because I'll explain what we had to do to make this work as we go. But this is what we ended up with in the background here. And this is what I started with. This is what AI Make created for me, and what we're going to use to make what I'm going to show you next. So here's a quick look at the finished product of what we're going to go over making, and we'll go into detail on how we came about this. Okay, so we've got our design. We designed a 4-layer design in Atom. And what we want to do is we want to make this a 4-layer design that we're going to actually cut something out. So on this whole thing is right now a compound vector. So we're going to release that. And then we're going to switch this whole thing. As you can see, it's all black right now. And that's because it set it to engrave. We don't want engrave. We want score or cut. Either one. Either one gives us what we want here. Okay, and then we've got this here. This is nothing we want. So we're going to hold the shift key, and we're going to pick all of this. Well, I didn't get it all. Anyway, we don't need this. This is a preview. We're going to delete that. We're going to get rid of it. And then we're going to delete these. Okay, so this is what we want to start with. And we're going to take this, and we're going to create a compound vector, because we don't want this layer 2 part that's connected to it. So we're going to take that part, and we're going to edit. And we're just going to put a point here. We're going to drag it to there. And we're going to try to straighten it up so it looks decent. And then we're going to clip out that. And then we're done. We're going to edit compound vector. I'm going to pick this. We're going to delete that whole thing. We're going to pick that and that. Hold your shift key. Pick that and that. Delete that. Okay, so here's our first part. And we want to take this and we want to group it, so as we move things around, we don't mess this up. So, yeah. And, oh, we didn't click done. Okay, click done first. Then click group. Now, there's our first section. Now, I don't know about these fall trees. So this would give you an option of doing a fall scene or... Okay, so this one, all right, hang on, we gotta undo. You gotta watch moving things around at the beginning, but we don't want them in this layer. So we're gonna delete them because they're here. We don't need them twice. I don't even know if we need the steps, but see how these two are connected? That's something else we're gonna wanna take care of. So we're gonna take this and we're gonna create a compound vector. We're gonna edit. We're gonna go into here and we're going to make another point, drag it up to here, connect it, and cut this one loose from that one. And we're going to cut that and that. We're going to hit done. We're going to edit compound vector, and we're going to delete these. So we've deleted all of those. Now we've got our church, we got our two sections, and we're going to click done here real quick. Okay, so now these are still connected. So what we want to do is we want to release the compound vector. We want to pick this one, and we want to move it over, and we can group it or whatever. I don't think there's any moving parts on that one. And I want to figure out what our box size is. And our box size is going to basically be, the inner box is going to be whatever this is. So we're going to take rectangle, and we're going to zoom in on this, and we're going to and unlock it, because I was off the screen, but I wanted to make sure those were good. And bring this up to there, and that is that. Now we're going to take this, and we're going to move this one to red, so we can keep our layers separate. Okay, and then what we have here is we have a bunch of extra stuff. So we want to make this compound vector. Now it's all a compound vector. Now we can go into edit, and we've got a bunch of multiple lines here, see? So where this tree connects, we've got two lines here. We want to get rid of the short line. And it didn't. Did it? I think it did. Okay, so we get rid of our short line. Oh, there's the other half of it. Okay, so we want to get rid of the short line. And we want to get rid of this. And that. We don't want the machine cutting twice here. So we want to clean this up. And the nice thing is, if you just clip the wrong thing, all you do is just hit undo. So it's not the end of the world if you do clip the wrong one, but as you can see, not too difficult. Then we're going to go back to select, and we want to make sure that this here is actually connected. Well, actually, we're going to want to connect that to here. And because this is a cutout, see how this is still separate? We want to pull a tie point from the, oh wait, yeah, okay, single. We want to pull a tie point to right there. Then we should be able to clip this there. Now we can clip that off. Now this will be our cutout. Okay, but what we didn't do is get our rectangle size. So basically we've got our size here, and we could make this a lot easier by making this 5 by 7, which I think would probably be a good idea. So we're going to change this to 5. Make sure it's unlocked by 7. Okay, now everything is going to be the same. Now we can make a 5 by 7 box. So we're going to make this, we're going to make a rectangle, we're going to go, and we're going to unlock it, and we're going to make it 5. Make it 5 by 7. I don't know what the heck that was. I somehow clicked process. I don't want that. Okay, so here's our box. Now you see that's that. Okay, now we have our other chapel that's going to be our back layer, which is not the same size. So what we've got to do is we've got to adjust. We're going to unlock this. Now, when it generates stuff, it doesn't always generate it perfect. So some of this stuff may need to be modified a little bit. And it doesn't have to be perfect. But it does have to be close. so that your layer design looks better. Okay, now here we have, as you can see, a tree with fall branches, and then we have trees with regular branches. So that's something we're going to want to modify. So we're going to take this. This is actually, I wonder if we could just change this to 5, if it would do what we want. Let's see. Okay, there we go. That's perfect. Okay, so that's what we want. So this is edited to what we want here to be connected to that. But as you can see, these trees here don't really fit in with what we're doing. And this is a layer behind, so we can take these and we can edit them. Let's see here. Trying to figure out the easiest way to edit these branches, but I don't think there's a well, actually, we could just go and clip the main stems off. So that they're separated from this. And then we could move this there. Now, if we go edit, you're going to be able to delete these sections just like that. Okay, and then we still have some over here, so we've got to go done. And then we're going to do the same thing over here. We're going to go edit. We're going to clip that and that off. Oh, and this one's attached to the building too, so you got to watch some of this stuff. See, this one's attached to the building. Now this under here I don't think will be seen, but I just assume you might as well just get rid of it. It's not going to be in our... Now we want to, actually before we do that, we want to take this line here and we want to pull it down to here. And done. And then if we can take this and join it to there, we should be able to clip that off. And one of the little glitches with this that I don't like is when you're trying to move these arrows, sometimes it tries to make a new line because it didn't connect them, and then you end up with this. I don't want that. We want to get rid of that. We want these to connect, but it doesn't always connect them like you want. So you got to kind of... Sometimes you just got to call it close enough. All right, so we're going to hit done here. Oh, no, not yet. Because we got to fix this one here. Okay, I think we've got everything. Oh, well, no, right here. So you just got to look everything over and make sure you get all of it. We want to tie that to, I'd say there. And then clip. Done. Edit. Delete. 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 So what we want is we want to take this one at done. We want the box. We want to copy it. We want to paste it. We want to make it offset. And we want to figure out how wide you want your box. It's going to be an outer offset. It's going to be, say, do we want to say a 1/2 inch? 0.5. Okay, there's our 0.5 offset. We want it square. and confirm. Okay, so this is our offset for our box. Okay, so this is our cutout. This is our, okay, there's that. We're going to copy it. We're going to paste it. And put it like that. Make sure it's squared up. And then we're going to take and we're going to create a compound vector for this. And then, as you know, if you want this to be cut out, you're going to want these to be joined here. So we're going to clip this and that and that. And we're just going to go through and get all of the stuff that's, now see here, we're not connected to this. So we're going to take this and we're going to bring it over to here. We're going to take this, we're going to bring it down to here. And that's going to make that separate. Okay, so now this is our one layer. And it's a compound vector, so it's all grouped. This is our second layer. We're going to take this one and we're going to go create compound vector. And we want to get rid of this line here. Otherwise, it's just going to cut the whole thing out and we're going to end up with nothing there. Okay, and then hopefully none of this is attached or anything that's going to cause us. It doesn't. It looks like it's a nice church. Okay, so here's our two layers. Now, our next layer is obviously this piece here. We forgot to make the offset of that, so we're just going to, I could delete, I could turn down, or we can just do another offset of 0.5, confirm, square edge, confirm. Okay, so there's our next box. Now this is going to be the box that's going to go around our bride and groom, and they're going to need some editing. Okay, so our bride and groom are going to be something like that, but I think they're a little big. I'm not sure. I think they're a little big. So we're going to pick, actually what we've got to do is we've got to take this layer, move it to orange, make this layer purple. This layer is not necessary anymore, so we're going to delete that. We're going to make this layer black. And so let's take this frame off. We just want them. And we want to put them in front of the church and see how they look. And we'll want to engrave them. And I think they're a little, they kind of, we want them right at this level right here. So they might be a little big for the church. I think we're going to bring them down a tiny bit. I think I like that. Okay, so that looks pretty good right there. So now we're going to take them out of here. We're going to hit score, edit. We want to do the same thing we did on everything else, and we want to take this line, bring it up to here, and we want to clip our layer there. Okay, so we're done. Oh, we had two on this one. Okay, so make sure you get both of them. Okay, so there's that. I'm going to clip that off. And this is kind of tedious, but when you're done, it comes out looking really cool. I mean, this is going to be a pretty neat little project. Okay, so we're going to delete that. I'm going to delete that. I'm going to take our bride and our groom. Actually, we're just going to pick black right now because it's kind of close to that. This is why I make them black, so now you can just take those and move them that way without having to do a whole bunch of crazy stuff. Right there. See, that's what we want. We don't want to cut. We don't want that ridge. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I don't know what that was all about, but we're just gonna create compound vector, edit. I'm gonna get rid of that. Just gonna get rid of this base. Okay, now what do we want to stay? We want this. Don't want that to go. So these are the kind of things you gotta figure out what you want. You'll see, I don't think I want this line at all. Okay, so that gets us, I think that gets us our bright and groove. We're gonna find out in a second here. Yes, that looks really good, except for we've got a line here. So you see this line? So this is the kind of stuff you want to watch for. Why do we have that line? It's not that. I don't, oh, right here. See, we're not connected. So this is the kind of stuff you got to watch. It will cause some weird things if you're not actually closed in. See, now it still looks a little funny here, but I think, we go cut. I think we're looking really good. Okay, so I think we're pretty good here. So we have got our bride and groom. We've got our church, which now when you do this editing, sometimes you'll see stuff like this. Sometimes the contacts are close enough to cut, but they don't actually make contact. So this isn't always a great test, but you can see that these are mostly separate. You can go in and you can fuss around and see, like right here, we are open. Right there. And sometimes you can try and it won't close it. I'm going to see, but yeah, see, it didn't close it. I don't know, but it'll cut out fine. So there's our 3 layers. So this is our base layer. And then this is going to go over that, which, okay, so when you're doing this, you want to hit, arrange, bring forward. Okay, so there's our next layer. And then this is our 3rd layer. And I don't really think we need a 4th layer because I think that looks really good. I mean, that looks really nice. So, and it already put it right on the top. So these are our 3 layers. You're going to see your trees in the background. You're going to see your church in the next layer, and then you're going to see them in the front. Now you could do a moon and stars or something in the background, or you could put a blue background on it, whatever you want. But the next thing you want to do, which I also didn't do, is we're going to want to make a trim ring because we want to add layers. We want to make this look dimensional. So we need to make a rectangle. No, not that. Close that. We're going to make a 5. Big fingers. Hit 2 buttons at once. Okay, so 5 by 7 rectangle. And then we're going to do an offset on that of a 1/2 inch. 0.5 external offset, square. There we go. Confirm. And this is our copy of those. And we're going to make this layer, I'm going to say yellow. Just make them all different, just so you can decipher. And if you wanted to, you could add it. But see, if you look at this church, you could add another layer. But if you look at this church, it is not exactly the same. It's a weird addition that I don't get. But you could take, say, the shrubs out of this and add them to this if you wanted to. Honestly, that isn't really worth it, though. If you wanted to add some shrubs to this, you could just go into elements. Elements, I clicked the wrong thing. And in elements, there are all kinds of bushes and things. So you could add, say, say maybe something like this. And you're just going to offset it, 0, confirm, delete that, take this, shrink it down, and take it and put it in here, something like that, say. So what you want to do is you want to take those two and you want to make those a compound vector and edit. And then what you're going to want to do is delete this side of it. And you want to attach that to that. And you're going to click that and that. And you go down to the bottom. And you're going to get rid of the stuff that you don't need in it. So I would probably get rid of all of these because they're behind that. Okay, so now we're here. And this is going to connect to something like that. And we're going to get rid of everything outside the line. Okay, so what we've got here is a tree that needs to be attached to this. So what we want to do is we want to figure out what point of the tree is going on this side and what point's going on this side. So I would take probably, this is kind of a rough one to figure out. Some of this stuff you just gotta, I would delete this whole little section here and just drag this down to there. And done. Then we should be able to delete all of this. Okay, now see what we have here. We've got this and this. Aren't quite connected. So we want to connect these two by moving this back to here. Now we should be, see, now we've got a little shrub on the side there. That's just something you could add if you wanted to. And then we're just going to take this whole thing and we're going to make it a compound vector. Okay, so there's our 3 layers. And we've got our trim ring that's going to be a spacer in between. We're going to make this up. Okay, so on here, I had set this up. I had done this all on my S1 platform here, but we're going to do this on the M1 Ultra because I haven't done many videos with that and I'd like to kind of show what it can do. So what we're going to do is going to delete that. And this is our work area. What we want is, I mean, you could do these so you just do 2 at a time. Actually, get that over there. You can't even do 2 at a time because we are 6 wide. We don't have quite enough space. So what I would do is I would take these and I would reduce them down to 5.5 high just for our demonstration purposes. So this is our design. Let's take it and move it inboard a little bit. We're going to turn this one off. Yeah, I think we look really good here. Okay, so we want to take all of this and we're going to switch it to cut. And it's going to be, you're going to pick your material, and we're going to be using 1/8" basswood plywood. So we're going to hit apply on that. And that's going to give us our settings of 90 and a speed of 5 and 1 pass. Okay, so we're going to set that up in the machine, and we're going to cut these out and see what it looks like. Okay, so we've got our M1 Ultra, we've got the 10-watt module, we've got our honeycomb in place, and we're just going to take our magnetic clips that come with the honeycomb, and we're going to clamp this down. Now, one of the things when you clamp this down, you want to look on the screen and make sure if you're doing something that's pretty full on it, your crosshair is over here. So you want to kind of set this corner. Get that right on the crosshair. Right on the crosshair. Especially if you were doing something that was exactly or pretty close to the edges of your 12 by 12. And then your magnets, you want to just make sure they're right out so you don't try to cut them, which I have actually scored my magnets up more than once. This plywood comes pretty flat, so we don't have to worry about anything there. Okay, so we've got our piece in the machine. And then you're going to go over and you're going to hit focus. And you have to close the lid, which is one of the things that confuses me because I have the S1 and you don't have to close the lid. And I have this and I have to close the lid. So I go back and forth sometimes. But there we go. She's focused. We could do framing and everything, but we know we're inside the parameter, so I'm not going to bother doing framing. So we are ready to run this process, and we've got them all listed, so we're going to hit process. And because it's a simple cutout without an engraving or anything, it goes pretty fast. So we're ready, and we're going to go. And this is the 10-watt module. And our AP2 just kicked in. I'm running the air purifier here, and that works really nice for cleaning the smoke out. And if you're running the air purifier, take your filter out of the back. It gives you a warning, but I actually read the warning and forgot and left the filter in, and it got all clogged up for no reason because the AP2 will suck the smoke out. So, cutting pretty quick. And then once this is done, we'll see what it looks like. Yep, looks pretty good. Okay, so we're going to let this run, and we'll come back to it. So this is a project that's going to take about 21 minutes and 37 seconds according to the estimator. So we're about halfway through right now, and as you can see, it's cutting the details out really nice. Well, I was going to show you that while that was showing, so we're going to stop there. Okay, so after 21 minutes and 37 seconds, this is our reveal. Let's see if we got these all cut out right. Now, I used xTool's suggested settings. Now, I can see a bit of flash on this, so I would run a test grid. Okay, so it looks like this one came out perfect. Very nice. Okay, then our spacer is going to go like that. And then this is the one I was concerned about, and that came out really nice. And then I would run another spacer for here, for our bride and our groom. But there's our layered design. So what we'll do is we'll paint this up and we'll cut another layer out, another frame basically, to give this more dimension. And then we'll figure out backings and paint and things like that. So on this here, on the next layer between the bride and the groom and the church, I want to make that thicker. So this is actually 1/4 inch plywood. Now with the 1/4 inch plywood with the 10 watt, it's going to take twice as long to cut this as it did to cut the 1/8 inch all 4 pieces. Because what it's doing is it's going to cut the first pass and then it's going to do a second pass. So it's doing this in 2 passes instead of 1 at 100 power and 3 speed. So what we're going to do is we're going to let this run, and then we're going to see I want to see what it did on the first pass, how deep it went after we cut this piece out. Okay, so on the 1/4 inch plywood, on 3 passes at 100 power, 3 speed, we just got through. I mean, it's still hanging on a little bit. So the 1/4 inch, I don't know I do a whole lot of 1/4 inch with the 10 watt. I have the 40 watt S1 and it cuts this like butter. But I don't really think this machine is designed for doing a ton of laser cutting. I think it would probably get it kind of dirty for doing your other stuff. So I usually do almost all my cutting on my S1, but this machine will do it and it'll do 1/4 inch. You're just probably gonna have to clean it out a bit, you know, for your other stuff. But it does cut 1/4 inch, it just takes a bit. Okay, so when I did this, I thought it'd be kind of cool to have maybe color behind where the windows show through and the bell tower. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a score line on this to match this. But since we don't have anything, what we're going to do is we're going to copy this, we're going to paste it. We're going to take that and set that there, and we're going to turn this to yellow. Or no, we already have a yellow. So let's turn to something we don't have. Okay, so we're going to go light blue. Okay, so now what we want to do here is we want to edit this compound vector, and we want to disconnect the main trim from it, like that. Then we can click done, and then we go back to edit compound vector, and we can zoom out and we can get rid of these pieces. And this one here. Now we want to keep these outer ones for our layout, but we don't want them to be something that we're going to actually score or anything. So we're going to take this and we're going to make that. Oh, we got to click done first. And then we're going to release the compound vector. And we're going to take these pieces here and we're going to make them orange or some other color. Okay. Then this will make sense in a second here. If you haven't already figured out what I'm doing, I'm going to take these, and then we're going to take this whole thing and we're going to group it again, and we're going to put it onto this, just like that. Well, almost just like that. Well, these aren't exactly the same anyway, so we're going to get it 99.9% pure, and we're going to click it. We're going to hit orange, and we're going to delete all the orange. Now we have our cutout and we have our light blue. Now we're going to make our light blue. I usually make score or engrave green. That's just one of the weird things I do. So we're going to make that score. And this is going to be our new piece. How about not delete? I must have hit delete. I meant to hit group. I don't know what the heck it is. Okay, so there that is. Now we're going to go in the laser, and we've already cut this piece out, and I don't want to make a new one. So we are going to go in, and we're going to set our crosshairs. Right to the bottom corner of it. I'm going to take this, and we're going to move that to the bottom corner. And then just to make sure, we're going to slide our laser over and make sure the other corner. You got to move. I can't move. See what I'm doing. And our other corner looks like it's perfect. So now we're going to just pick the green as an output, and everything else is going to be ignore. Okay, so we've got this set up. All right, so we are ready. Just to be safe, we're going to refocus. Always refocus. We cut some 1/4 inch before. Oh, I'm going to close the lid. So just always refocus, just to be safe. Because you can get some serious charring if you don't refocus. And I'm scoring, we're not cutting, so I didn't reset this to 1/8 inch, but it should be fine because we're actually scoring, not cutting. So we're going to run this. And go. Okay, so we put our piece in and we reran it. And that's our score on our already pre-done piece, which came out really nice. Now we have an area where we can paint and infill if we want light to shine through. So here are our layers, and the first layer is going to be our just a little frame. And then we have our bride and groom. And then we've got a spacer just to get some distance between the bride and groom and the church. And then this will be the church. And then this is going to be the backer of our church, which is going to be what we're going to do all our highlights in to paint so that the church has some color. So that's what we're going to work on next. So here's our layered engraving before we glue it up. So we've got our frame, which I stained. We've got our bride and our groom. We've got a spacer to bring our bride and groom out a little bit. We've got our church with a little bush there, and then we have our backer, which I scored so that we could paint. Now, because this has a big area, you don't have to be really detailed in the painting, but you do want it to basically shine through so that you get a nice little effect through it. So, that was lovely. So the next time I show this, it'll be all glued up. But there's our, that is our wedding layered engraving, layered cutout. So this is what we came up with using AI Make with our bride and groom in front of a church. And you can paint this up however you want. I made it so that the layer behind was painted with different colors so that light shine through the windows. And if you look in behind, you can see details, lights in the windows. It's fairly thick. And this is just an example of what you can do with AI Make. If you want to create stuff, you can pretty much prompt it to make whatever you want. But I just figured I'd give this a shot and paint it up real quick to show you some examples. So here's our finished bride and groom layered cutout, painted up. I put a little paper backer on it that you get at like Hobby Lobby or whatever to just make it look a little nicer. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you'd like to see more. Leave a comment if you see anything, if it helped you out, or if I did something you think I could do better, let me know. I've got more coming, and if you're interested in the M1 Ultra, I will leave a link so that you can take a look at them on xTool. If you buy it through me, I get a little bit of commission, and it doesn't cost you anything. And I've got a lot more in the works, so stay tuned.